Right now, you are warm. Somewhere in your home, there is a small dial, and the moment the air dips, a machine solves the problem before your body can complain. For nearly all of human history, winter was not a hassle. It was the season built to end you, and it never attacked from one direction. It came from four. The cold could finish you, the hunger could finish you, the animals could finish you, and the long black nights could wear you down before any of the others got their chance. So how did people survive it for hundreds of thousands of years, with no furnace, no store, and no walls that stop the wind? Start with the cold. The human body is a tropical machine. We evolved in warm Africa, and an unprotected human loses badly to freezing air. No claws, no fur, no real insulation. We are among the worst designed large animals on Earth for a brutal winter. And yet humans marched into it, north into Ice Age, Europe, and Siberia, where winter fell far below what a bare body can survive. The first answer was fire. But fire heats only the side of you facing it, and it does not travel with you. Step away to hunt, and the cold rushes back. People needed warmth wrapped around the body, everywhere they went. Which brings us to the most critical winter technology humans ever made: clothing. But not the version you are picturing. For a long stretch, a hide was simply draped over the shoulders, and that leaves openings everywhere. It falls off the moment you move. A draped pelt beats nothing. But in a real winter, beating nothing still gets you killed. The leap was cutting hides into pieces and stitching them into shapes that matched the body. Fitted sleeves, closed seams. A garment that sealed warm air against the skin and held it there. That is the difference between a blanket and a coat. But to do it, you need a needle with an eye. You take a splinter of bone, grind it to a point, then bore a hole small enough to thread but strong enough not to shatter. Archaeologists have found bone needles like these dating back tens of thousands of years. Precise tools made by people who knew exactly what they were for. The thread came from the animal too. Sinew, the fiber joining muscle to bone, was stripped, dried, and used to bind hides. Turn the fur inward, and a human could stand in air cold enough to kill while living inside a private bubble of warmth. Sewn clothing was not a luxury. It was the technology that let our species leave the warm continent it evolved in and settle the coldest corners of the planet. So now you can move and work, but the light is fading, and no coat solves the next problem. You have to survive the night. The obvious answer is a cave. But caves are scarce. A dry, defensible cave was rare, and if you found one, somebody else likely wanted it. So often you had to build your winter yourself. At Mezyryk, in modern Ukraine, archaeologists found dwellings built roughly 15,000 years ago, in a landscape with almost no timber and almost no stone. So the people there built with the one material available in enormous supply: the bones of mammoths. They interlocked the remains of dozens of animals into round, dome-shaped structures, jawbones layered like shingles, great tusks arching over the entrance. Inside, every effort went toward trapping heat. At a site in South Africa, researchers found bedding of layered plants, carefully arranged, dating back around 77,000 years. And bone does not fit together neatly. Every gap is an open door for wind. So people stretched hides across the inner walls, stacked cut turf against the outside, and packed snow against the shelter, because snow traps air, and trapped air holds heat. Layer by layer, the wind ran out of places to get in. A shelter became a system, and it kept people alive on nights that should have killed them. But that brings the third weapon, and maybe the deadliest: hunger. Here is the part modern life has erased. In winter, the land stops producing food. Plants die back. Berries vanish. Roots lock into frozen soil. Animals move on, hide, or grow thin themselves. For a hunter-gatherer, winter is the season the earth stops feeding you. You have to gather enough in the warm months to carry a whole group through months when almost nothing arrives. The first method was drying. Slice meat thin, dry it in sun or low smoke, and you pull the moisture out. Without moisture, it resists rot, and smoke adds a second layer of protection. The second turned cold into a tool. Frozen ground is a natural freezer. Dig a pit, pack it with meat from a good kill, and winter itself preserved the food that kept them alive. The most valuable winter food was not meat, it was fat. When your body burns huge energy just staying warm, lean meat is not enough. Fat is the densest energy available, so people rendered it and combined it with dried meat into a compact, calorie-dense ration. In a season where every calorie counted, Fat was the difference between a group that reached spring and one that did not. So now you are warm, sheltered, and fed. You have beaten 3 of winter's 4 weapons. But the 4th never touches the body. It attacks the mind, the darkness. The further north you go, the more the days shrink. A few hours of light, then 15 or 16 hours of cold blackness with nothing to do but wait. You cannot hunt in the dark. You are shut in a small space with the same few people, night after night, and that wears a person down in ways cold and hunger never could. But ancient people did not merely tolerate those hours, they filled them. This was the time for everything that needed no daylight: repairing tools, shaping spear points, mending clothing, carving. The long night was workshop time, when a group prepared everything it would need the moment weather broke. And it was more than labor. Around that fire is where elders passed down what they knew, and where the same stories were told again and again, carrying a group's memory across generations. A huge share of what we call human culture, the myths, the songs, the shared knowledge, was forged in these conditions. One study of the Jew, Hoanzi and the Kalahari, found that after dark, talk shifted away from practical matters and towards stories, song, and ritual. Firelight changed what people were willing to share. People pressed together against the darkness, keeping each other warm, keeping each other sane, keeping each other human until the light returned. Pull back, and something striking appears. Winter did not just get survived. Winter shaped us. The cold pushed people to invent fitted clothing. Scarce caves pushed them into architecture. The empty land pushed them to invent storage, and the long dark pushed them to build culture itself. Every winter was a test many people failed. Survival was earned, every year, through preparation, skill, and stubbornness. And now look at you. You turn a dial and the room warms. You have never felt the dread of watching the first snowfall and wondering whether you stored enough to see spring. You do not survive winter anymore. You barely notice it. Not because winter got gentler. It is because 100,000 years of people freezing and huddling in the dark figured out how to beat it, one invention at a time, so that you never would have to.